Alright, hello everybody, welcome on board Easyjet. Flight 681 Whiskey from Gatwick to Aldergrove, Belfast International. Very slow departure from Gatwick, a long delay due to just volume of traffic. Took about 35 minutes from clearance reception to actually taking off. Very busy, well handled by the traffic controllers. But yeah, it was a little bit chaotic, let's say that. Actually, no, it wasn't chaotic at all, it was extremely organised, but it was just very slow. It took time. Anyway, so we're now descending to Belfast. We've programmed the RNAV for runway 07. Looking at the weather now, we might be coming in at minimums. We've got a nice thick layer of cloud. It's kind of thinner over here, over this lake. I'm going to put the terrain on, because I think the lake is just to the west of us there. So I'm just going to pop up the actual weather data. So we're looking at, there we go, we're entering the clouds now. 040 at 14, overcast 1700, 1310 and QNH is 120. So I'm going to set 1020 now, because that means we're going to have to adjust our profile slightly, slight steepening there. We haven't had to use any speed brake the whole approach. The Fenix, our VNAV is working fantastically, very nicely managed. Descent profile there. Going to start flicking the lights on. I always keep GS mode off, because the last thing you want to hear at 50 feet is glide slope rather than 50. That just means I actually know, oh, it's time to flare. It's 150, 40, 30, 20, 10, 5. Good. Good, good, and save. Okay, we're now in the clag. Just going to turn our displays down slightly so we can actually see something still. Coming around the corner shortly, I'm going to actually engage the approach mode there. We can actually reduce now to our approach speeds in about 3 seconds. There we go, speed, final lap engaged, and we've got that profile. So I'm going to stick in the first layer of flap there already. Profile's just come up. Belfast traffic, Easy 681 Whiskey is Leargu for RNAV runway 07, Belfast. Just popped out below the clouds now, just over the lake. So that's quite nice, lovely. Excited for the scenery. We've got Belfast Aldergrove by A320 Development Company, so that's going to be fantastic on arrival. Including their custom-made GSX profile, which includes opening of doors and all of that sort of stuff. We're at base leg now, so I'm going to demand flaps 2. Speed was okay. Bring us down to 170 knots for the base leg now. The nice thing about RNAV approaches is your FMC does actually do it as a full continuous approach. There's no strangeness here, so we're going to go straight through 4000. We're already in that mode, so we're just going to flick that to 5000 for go around. Turning final shortly. The only thing that's missing is our distance to waypoint. So I've got the board. There's the Belfast VOR. We're 10.7 miles out, so I know when we need to be having the gear down, basically. So that's basically our there we go. So that's essentially our director to Belfast. And that should now be pointing more or less in line with the airfield. Get everything set. I'm going to put the screen down to the smallest display. When we get to 7.5, gear will come down. I'm going to do 160 knots flaps free. There we go, we're on the glide path now. Okay, 2,500 is normally 7 miles. We'll put gear down now. We've got the runway just about there in sight. Yeah, that's lovely. Let's check our speeds. We've got 139 for the approach. So I'm going to give the speed over to the aircraft now. Flaps full. So I actually do want 139 as my approach speed. Just wondering what GS Mini is doing here. I'm actually going to disengage it slightly, just judging this now. Down to, let's say, 138 knots. Just to give us a more appropriate pitch attitude. Yes, that would be more realistic for a final approach of an A320. You want to be landing about 7 nose up, roughly, in real life. In simulator, obviously, everything's a bit different depending on the developer. But we'll have a go, we'll see what happens. Pappy has us low at the moment. No big deal. We got 17, 19 knots from ahead there. Coming in nicely over these green fields. It's very pretty today. Just starting to see some autumn colours in the trees just about. In real life they are starting to go a little bit yellow in my region in the UK, so.
Hundred above. Minimum.
Continue.
$100. 50, 40, 20, retard, 10, 5,
Start up the APU. Curious to see what this GSX profile does for us. So we've got a marshaller. Lovely frames per second at the moment. New spec is fantastic. He's standing slightly behind that there, that's a bit annoying. Parking brake set, we've got to wait a couple of minutes for the engines to cool down. Yeah, it's reasonably good parking. So we landed at 54, it's now 58, that's been more than 3 minutes. Pitch 5 on landing, so we could have pitched up a bit more actually, and then it would have been a bit nicer. But that's no problem. APU is available. Engine 2 first, we'll wait for fuel to show 0. And once below 10%. Just made that number up, I don't actually know how many percent you wait. Beacon can come off now, seatbelt signs off.
The boarding requested.
Pushback car would not be waiting there when you've just arrived, that's very busy. They're going to be somewhere else, so maybe only have 2 or 3 of those per aircraft, per airport. Also, that's not quite realistic. First the thing is raised and then it's driven towards, and then you put it into the gate but you don't touch any of it. Because as you unload the aircraft rises up, so you need to make sure that it's above the level of the door. And also these ground baggage handlers are being far too gentle compared to how they really would be doing it. Leaving the APU on is absolutely realistic though. Most places, at least in Innsbruck, they leave the APUs on all the time. This immediate connection of ground power is not entirely realistic.
Passengers boarding started.
Here we get the passengers off now. Wondering if they're going to walk through the pushback car. Oh, they're going on a bus. Okie doke. Might need to put something in the virtually folder.